Alrighty, guys, welcome back as we take on stage one of the Paris-Nice Tour. Obviously, one of the bigger races on the cycling calendar. Week-long stage race. I think we've got 8 stages. This time we're going to use Tudor Pro Cycling. Can Alaphilippe make the teams pay for not picking him up? Obviously, I live in Australia, so maybe try and get Michael Storer up there for a stage win. We see on those big mountain stages, we are going to have to go into a breakaway if we want any hope of a win. But on the sprint stages, we've got Trentin and Danesi. Trentin probably going to lead out, and then just a couple half decent domestiques. So going for stage wins from the group with Alaphilippe, couple sprints, and then Michael Storer. We're going to look to get up the road on that. I think it's stage 5 or stage 6, where we take on the big mountain climb. A very strong start list at this race. As we look at the parcours for stage one, it's pretty simple. Um, KOM, 3 of them. I don't think we're going to look for the breakaway today. We're going to go all in for the sprint. Probably not with Trentin, probably with Benazzi. But Molière took this edge in real life, and as you can see by those stats, it was never close. Um, he is insane. Mads Pedersen, I filmed this after the race, massively. So I know for a fact on like the last mountain stage, or second last mountain stage, he finished with the yellow jersey. Like he was climbing out of his mind. He's in very good form. But yeah, we're gonna jump on in, and I will walk you through some of the key contenders for the next 8 stages. Here we are on the start list where we have some good race day conditions. Croix d'Ivoire, he's on a rough one, but he's only in the sprint train, so I don't think I'm too worried. Um, Michael Storer is going to be up here making sure no one we don't want gets into the breakaway. Malaysia and Jacobs, I'm fine with both. Taco van der Horn, I'm not overly worried. Unless someone with High Mountain goes, even then I'm not too worried about GC. I kind of just don't want a big group to get themselves off the road and jeopardize a potential stage win. Matteo Jorgensen, the last year's winner, and obviously he watched all the way through this year's winner. Um, and here we take a quick look at Narvaez, who I think is going to be our biggest problem for Julian Alaphilippe when it comes to those kind of hilly climb stages where like, obviously Alaphilippe is at his best, but obviously Narvaez, I don't know if there's anyone better in the world at that right now. And as I was saying before, we have a stacked start list. Zangler is very good. Ready to go. Jorgensen, Vingegaard for the GC. Merlier for the sprints is going to be hard to beat. I might look to get his wheel late and follow him through to get a higher placing, although if we have a good train, I'm obviously going to commit to that. Ben O'Connor, obviously our proud Australian, he's going to be going after the GC. I know for Ineos there is Arensman somewhere. There he is. Um, didn't have the best of the races in real life during this one. But I'm trying to find a teammate who had an exceptional ride. There he is, Josh Tarling climbing extremely well, taking a flyer, taking in the sprints, and just being very strong. I know Demar gonna go for a couple sprints, although seemingly past his best. And yeah, I think that has covered the main ones. So unless something changes, I might send. I think if it comes to it, I will send Stora to sprint at these mountain things. Just pick up a couple points along the way, with there only being 2 in the breakaway. If we cut back here close to climb 1, I am gonna have Dora start thinking about a sprint for those additional points with 4Ks to go. I might just stick him on the front. Obviously, in real life, if you sit your turn on the front and no one's really contesting, they're a little bit more likely to provide you with kind of the free point. I'm gonna just hold over attack in case anyone decides they want to go for it, and I can immediately click. But it does look as though no one's going to challenge Michael Storer as he picks up the point, although Freud's comes flying up. Um, yeah, absolutely take that. Unless, yeah, Storer got it. He can go back to sitting in the group. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in any of the other ones, and I know we're very far in, is I'm gonna ride the races how I think the teams would ride in real life, at least a little bit. Like a team like Cuda going into this race with the riders they have, they're not gonna target the best climber classification. But if the points were there, I think Storer would go for them. And then obviously he did end up taking a stage from the breakaway later in the race. But yeah, also with race day conditions, although Trentin is absolutely the better shout on today's stage with a 77.76, which is the same except Trentin has it significantly better in every other stat. I would in game probably go for Trentin, but I think in real life, unless the legs are unbelievably better and the riders are close, they wouldn't do a switch. And I think Ganesi would still be going into this race as the sole sprinter. So that is what we're going to do. Alaphilippe's just going to get a bit of protection. Story's going to lose some time. And besides that, I think it's going to be a pretty chill race. So unless something crazy happens this KOM, I'll probably join you at the final of our KOMs. This is Here we go with 2Ks to go and kill this KOM point. With all of the points on available, we will see if we can sneak ourselves up into second place. Although, I don't know if that's an attack or not. I am going to have to attack to combat that high pace set, as well as chuck these boys on a more severe plan as I try and get back up. Stora versus Janssen. Stora looks like he's going to take it, and he does. Stora's job is now essentially to get dropped. Um, Doing his best, fall to the back of the group, get dropped, do the final kind of 20Ks solo. Uno X have done a large majority of the pace making. The way in which they decided to try and catch the breakaway was at an insane pace. They really did pick it up a gear. We're going to form our sprint train quite late for the pure fact that it's not going to be that many riders because Alaphilippe is going to get protected by one of these riders, and then the other ones are just going to have to deal. I think I'm going to take Freud's to just protect Alaphilippe. He's just going to sit a little bit further back in the group. There is no reason for him to get involved in the sprint and risk a crash. I'll stick it on ×2 because we are just going to look to sit for the moment. Janssen not putting any real pace in. I'm not overly interested about these bonus seconds for anyone, to be honest. So we're going to let them go, is my thinking. So Holla and Trentina are also going to let it go. We are not interested in that bonus sprint at all. I don't think we're targeting the green jersey. I don't think Denezi is strong enough. But once we do come through, that is when we're going to start our sprint trainers. Danny Van Poppel looked extremely interested in the point. These boys all need to just start taking off. Because ideally they will stop going at a rate of knots once it's over, although they get a gap. Anyone going to push on with it? No, which is extremely good for us. I want to form up our sprint train and we'll cut back once we get it all set up. And here we go, as we're going to try and move up on the left hand side through a lot of traffic. Energy gels are all popped in order. Um, Hopefully we can fight our way through to the front as Haller loses the wheel. Although here's his chance to make it up. McNulty blocks. Haller goes round. Line hard fading. We come through at 4K to go in a good position, although Lienhard needs to get out of the way. Trentin in a good spot, although we are losing the wheel quite severely. We're going to pivot to the wheel of Merlier. Trentin is going to pivot to the wheel Not sure what's going on. The Nazi caught so far back. Malia got the sprint wrong. We got the sprint wrong. Mads Pedersen takes the sprint win. I have not practiced taking those sprints in full speed and not being able to pause to adapt to things. And that severely caught me off guard. I'm going to have to learn some more of the commands. Um, we jumped wheel to the favorite late because we lost our sprint train, which I think was the right call normally. Um, Turns out they got it extremely wrong as well. As Dora loses all the time we wanted him to, like the only thing that probably went to plan during that. Let's have a look at that race finish again. Let's have a look what happens. We just get caught a little bit late on the left-hand side. Where is Merlier? Did he just really far back already? I know he's up there. So we move forward, and then Linehard needs to be told to get out of the way as we're blocked by Bernard pretty severely, and then McNulty. We move out there. Where's Merlier? So Merlier's on the far side. We take the turn. We end up in the middle. And this is where it all went wrong. We lose our sprint train here. We pivot across, and Merlier is blocked by Bernard again. Bernard absolutely messing everything up for us. Wrangler gets a great lead out and doesn't convert. Sprints late. Narvaez went early. The Navy got blocked again by Milano, and Pedersen came through on the right hand side. Obviously, not the stage we had hoped for, but our sprint is by far not going to be our primary way of taking a result during this race. On the mountains, we finished second on the stage with just picking up the additional points from the peloton. No energy wasted for Michael Storum. And I don't think we really have anyone yet. Yeah, no one for the young rider. But yeah, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. We would love to see you again. And we'll see you for stage two.